You are not here by accident, and you did not come to this moment by chance. This is a divine appointment that was set in motion long before today, with heaven making sure it happened at the right time. You are not imagining or feeling what you are right now. It is acknowledgement. Your spirit knows this time. Chosen one, there comes a time when waiting turns into making a choice, and getting ready turns into letting go. You are at the edge of that moment. The Bible says that the vision is for a set time. Even though it takes a while, wait for it because it will come and not be late. That time is almost here. What has been measured in secret is about to be shown in real life. What was kept secret for safety reasons is now okay to let out. Anointed One, the pressure you felt wasn't resistance. It was in line. The quiet tension, the sudden stillness, and the unexplainable sense of anticipation were all signs of a change. Heaven doesn't make a big deal out of moving. It verifies it internally. A transfer has weight because it has a reason. And what is coming is not a sign. It is real, physical, and given. Chosen one, this breakthrough is more than just a gift. It is validation, elevation, and restoration all happening at once. You were made to carry it, trained to take care of it, and trusted to stand in it. And sometimes, when words stop, what keeps you going is something quiet, simple, and steady that you can always go back to. What has been prepared is at peace here. Chosen one, this is not normal provision, and it was never meant to be. What is coming into your life is important because it carries legacy. This is the kind of abundance that goes back and forth at the same time, touching people who lived before you and people who will live after you. It breaks patterns that you didn't make but were born into. It gives answers to questions your family never knew how to ask. When it comes, it won't just change the numbers on a page, it will also finally make sense of the pain you went through without any explanation. Anointed One, there is a difference between money that eases stress and money that confirms your calling. What is coming is confirmation, not from people who doubted you, ignored you, or misjudged your silence, but from God Himself. He will give you confirmation after seeing you walk through fire without losing your spirit, after seeing you keep building when it looked foolish, and after seeing you keep believing when there was no visible return. The review is over in heaven, and the decision has been made. You're ready. That's why the pressure got worse instead of better. That is why old worries tried to come back without being asked. This is why some people began to act strangely around you. They pulled away, tested you, or suddenly started paying attention. They might not get it, but something in the air knows what is being sent your way. When things are out of alignment, even creation reacts. You can feel it too, even if you can't put it into words. It feels like a quiet countdown, like being outside right before the rain cools things down. You don't know when it will happen, but your spirit does. Chosen one, please understand this clearly. This transfer is not coming because you were in a hurry. It is coming because you grew up. You grew up while others ran away from their duties. You changed while others stayed the same. You gave up when it would have been easier to fight back. And yes, it cost you something. There were times when you saw people with less integrity get ahead faster. You saw doors open for other people, but yours stayed closed. You lost something that felt personal, unfair, and unnecessary. It hurt. That pain was real. That pain, on the other hand, was not punishment. It was a shield. If what is coming had come sooner, It would have leaked through parts of you that were still healing. It would have drawn in people who couldn't take care of it. It would have kept you from becoming the person you needed to be. You are now different. Now you are grounded, aligned, and healed in ways you used to pray for in secret. You don't care about noise anymore. You are no longer motivated by competition. You are steady. And that's what wealth sees, that steadiness. Anointed One, what is about to happen is not a coincidence. It is planned, measured, and aimed at by divine intelligence. The amount is big because the job is big. This is not money that doesn't come with instructions. It brings direction, places to go, seeds to plant, choices to make, and lives to change. The money isn't just for comfort. It is for making calls. That's why it took so long. You had to learn how to carry weight without breaking. Every night without sleep made me stronger. Every weight made them more patient. Every time you were turned down, your ability to tell right from wrong grew. When logic made fun of you, you learned how to walk by faith. You learned how to be generous even when you didn't have much. Those seasons weren't wasted. They were places to train. They strengthened their spiritual muscles. And now that muscle is strong enough to carry momentum that would have crushed you before. Chosen One, you are now in what feels like the almost zone, where fate starts to sound louder than doubt. When it knocks now, you will answer in a different way. You won't be hoping to be saved. Instead, you'll be ready to take on responsibility. What happens next will happen faster than what happened before. A single message, conversation, or approval can change everything. Some people might be shocked, but you will know it. You will know that you weren't just imagining things, that the voice you trusted was real, and that your obedience was seen. Heaven keeps track of things. No one ignored anything you carried quietly. Nothing you gave away without being thanked was forgotten. The books are in balance. The harvest did not go away. It stayed still. And when it comes, you will remember who you were in the wilderness, not with anger, but with respect, because that is where you learned to be humble even when you had a lot. God did not choose you for your charm or performance, Anointed One. You were chosen because people could trust you with power, resources, and making a difference. The amount is high because you can handle a lot. You never fit into regular timelines, and you never will. It may seem like what's coming is sudden, but it's not. It is the right time for God to show up with preparation. The answers are already on their way. Doors are already opening. The approval has already been given in the unseen. It is just crossing the last line of delay. And when it becomes clear, even those who doubted will know that this was not made by themselves. This was God. Next, we'll find out what's going on behind the curtain. Chosen One, things are moving that your eyes can see. Not movement that means something, but movement that changes the structure. Changes are happening in systems. Changing permissions. Things that were stuck are slowly and carefully being freed. This is more than just a spiritual idea. This is how alignment shows up. What is being finished now is meant to bring what is coming directly to your life without any problems or losses. Anointed One, think of it as a series of events that are happening. One person is being moved. One choice is being looked at again. One chance is being moved. From the outside, it doesn't look dramatic. But it is exact. Heaven doesn't hurry very often. It gets ready. And before it looks like speed, Preparation always looks like silence. When this gets to the visible world, it won't crawl. It will move with speed. That's why the timing seems off. You might feel both calm and anxious, hopeful but cautious, ready but not sure how. That's because your spirit knows that the time is right. This was never just about you being ready. It was also about making sure the area was safe for what you were about to carry. God has been making room by getting rid of people who aren't aligned, exposing unstable structures, and stopping paths that would have ruined what is coming later. Anointed One, if things have gone wrong lately, it's not your fault. The old framework couldn't handle the new weight, that's why. Some links had dates when they would end. Some roles couldn't go with you. Some doors closed not to punish you, but to keep you from building something sacred on shaky ground. The future is too important to rely on what was shaky. You might have wondered why you had to turn down chances that seemed good on paper, or why some places didn't feel right anymore even though they paid well or looked good. That was discernment getting better. God was showing you how to choose alignment over looks. Getting is one thing, keeping is another. And what is coming must be kept going, not just celebrated. The vessel matters, not perfection, but alignment, awareness, and readiness. You have outgrown things that used to pull you off center. You have faced patterns of self-sabotage that you used to avoid. You have healed places that you thought would always hurt. And heaven has been keeping a close eye on that work. At some point, the question changes from will they ever be ready? That time has come, from they are ready to they are ready. There is a phrase echoing in the unseen right now, they are ready. Not emotionally weak, not spiritually lost, not desperate, ready. Movement happens after that declaration is made, assignments are turned on, resources are made available, and paths are opened. You won't have to beg, chase, or push yourself too hard to get what comes next. This transfer is not pay for work, it is a gift for being obedient. You kept going even when no one clapped, you stayed true when all you had was faith. There were times when faith wasn't poetic, it was practical. Get up, keep going, and keep believing in secret. You honored what was not yet visible, and now the visible must act. This is a change from timelines of scarcity. Barely enough no longer rules your life. You are no longer defined by the dry season. This is not a short-term success, it is a new operating system, and it starts with giving people money that gives them power, the kind of money that sparks creativity and frees up ideas that were stuck because there weren't enough resources. When this happens, it may come so cleanly that you stop. You will read the message twice, go over the details again, and wonder if it is real, but something inside you will calm down right away. Your spirit will know it before your mind does, because you have been quietly expecting it for a long time. You have thought about what it would be like to be free from all the limits, and now it is knocking. Chosen one, don't flinch when that door opens, don't say you're sorry. Don't downplay what God is doing to make other people feel better. This isn't being arrogant, it is a job. The plans that have been in your head for years need money now. You are walking into rooms that used to ignore you, not because you asked to get in, but because you are supported. There is more than just breakthrough money coming. It is blueprint money, the kind that builds, the kind that starts things, and the kind that gives form to what was just a prayer before. God isn't just saying when, He's saying now. And when you look back, you'll see that nothing was lost, it was kept, saved, and returned with more. The next chapter is not about proving anything, it's about coming up with ideas, answers, structures, and good things. Everything comes from what you went through and what you didn't give up. The amount is measured by how much it can hold, not by how it compares to other things, and your capacity is big because you said yes. Anointed One, something amazing is happening. The time between getting ready and seeing results is getting shorter and shorter. The quiet you feel isn't empty, it is the intention. Your spirit is responding because it senses closeness. The transfer is almost here. It's going around your life, close enough to change how you think and breathe. And when it lands, it won't just change your account, it will also fix your story. Stories that said you were late will be changed. You won't think you missed your chance anymore. God doesn't need time to fix things that are broken, He needs a chance. Here is that opening. The next movement will show how quickly alignment can become clear. Chosen One, what's coming next isn't just help, it's also correction. God isn't just giving you something new, He is changing the story that was told about you. When you were quiet, people made guesses about you. When you were out of sight, people made judgments about you. And when you were late, people wrote timelines for you that were wrong. Now, all of that is being changed. This transfer gives the power to change stories, not by arguing, but by what happens. Understand how this works. Anointed One, heaven doesn't rush to protect you with words, it gives you results. When God fixes a story, He does it completely. There is no partial restoration or symbolic turnaround. Instead, there is a real change that makes old conclusions fall apart. This is why the amount is so high. The correction has to be clear. Some people will be shocked, but not because they are jealous. They will be confused. They won't get how the change happened so quickly, how you went from being ignored to being unavoidable, how access suddenly appeared, and how doors that used to ignore you now open without any trouble. You won't have to say anything. Presence will talk, alignment will talk, peace will say something. Chosen One, divine wealth has a frequency. It doesn't just come quietly in the dark. When it lands, it changes the mood. Rooms react, things change in conversations, adjustments to invitations. You will notice that people talk to you differently, ask different questions, and treat you with more respect. This is not because you asked for it, but because provision brings clarity. It shows where power has always been. And here's the part that most people don't talk about. This correction isn't just on the outside, it's also on the inside. You will notice that the way you make decisions changes. You won't feel as rushed, as reactive, or as anxious. The urgency that was once on your chest because of fear will start to fade, not from survival, but from abundance, not from panic, but from discernment. That is how you can tell that the shift is real. Your way of thinking changes before things are fully settled. This is why the money isn't dangerous in your hands. Anointed One, your identity was fixed before the account was. You learned how to say no when you didn't have much. You learned how to stay calm when nothing was certain. That training is important now. Riches make what is already there bigger, and what is inside you is stability. This season will need a new rhythm. No chaos, no too much, a new way to organize your days, a new order. Not just spending, but also new talks about stewardship. You are moving up from just surviving to making plans, from hoping to leading, and from waiting to managing. At first, that might feel strange. You might stop and look around, wondering if this is really yours. Chosen One, yes, it is. And it came because you can carry it, not just carry it, but also multiply it with wisdom, protect it with boundaries, and walk in it with humility. Everything you lost before will be overshadowed, not just by how much you lost, but also by how good it was. The peace will be stronger, the freedom will be more stable, and the chances will be more in line. You are entering a time when good things start to come to you instead of the other way around. That doesn't mean that effort goes away, it means that hard work finally pays off. You quietly crossed a line, and that crossing has already been noted. Your name, role, and balance have all been changed in the background, and now what was written is going down. You might have been feeling a strange kind of confidence lately, quiet, steady, and almost new. That's not your imagination, that is recognition. Your spirit knows it doesn't need to wait for permission anymore. Fulfillment is closer than your doubts, louder than your fear, and clearer than the quiet you learn to live in. What makes this moment special is how it will come about. It won't come about through hard work or exhaustion, but often through the unexpected, a connection you ignored, a place you thought was closed, or a name you haven't heard in years. God uses channels that are often ignored because they go around pride and show intent. This transfer is prophetic, not something that can be predicted. What is coming is justice, the kind that ends things without fighting, the kind that settles scores without getting revenge, and the kind that honors your pain without needing your approval. You didn't say anything when other people bragged, you were still kind even when you didn't have much. You stayed where you were while the world seemed to move on without you. That position was noticed. Heaven gave you a command, do not pass them by, chosen one. When that command is given, doors, resources, and timing all follow. There was never a happy ending to the delay. The setup would make the arrival impossible to deny. You will not only get this money, but you will also be its representative. People will be able to understand something about your life that they couldn't before. You can't buy favor, it is given, and it doesn't need protection by force when God gives it. It has its own seal. What you get won't go away, it will grow because it was never meant to end with you. It will run in your family, it will bring to life ideas that were written down but never used. It will pay for answers that seemed impossible before. It will change what people who know you can do. Your sensitivity will grow as it gets closer. You will be able to see patterns more clearly, pick up on signals more quickly, and tell when something is happening with less effort. That is divine tuning, which means that heaven is changing how you see things so that you don't miss what you prayed for and don't reject it because you don't believe it. You won't say, "This is too good to be true" when it gets here. Instead, you'll say, "I knew this day would come." Not because you saw it clearly, but because you felt it over and over again. The fight will come to an end, the survival mode will let go, and the weight you carried for so long will lift without any fuss. The next move will show how being ready turns into being recognized. Chosen one. There is a kind of tiredness that comes from believing for a long time without seeing any change. There is no noise, it doesn't say anything, it settles into the body in small ways. You still come, you still work, you still have a duty, but something has been stable inside for longer than you thought it would be. Heaven can see that endurance clearly. This season has called for a different kind of strength. Not the loud kind that celebrates progress, but the quiet kind that keeps things moving even when they don't seem to be. You learned how to wake up and choose faith without having to get confirmation right away. You learned how to keep your promise even when you weren't as excited. You learned how to trust again even when it seemed like hope was running out. That consistency is more important than times of high intensity. There were days when you weren't sure if you were still on the same page or just being stubborn, and nights when you weren't sure if waiting was smart or scared. Those questions didn't make you unqualified, they showed that you were there, they showed that you were telling the truth. What is coming can't be supported by faith that has never been tested, and you stayed in the present during the test, chosen one. Waiting doesn't mean standing still, it means keeping your posture, it means going back to what you know is true over and over again, even when your feelings change. It means picking stability over showiness. You did not give up your values when things got hard. You didn't change your integrity to get things done faster. That restraint kept the promise safe while it grew. Anointed one, the long wait made you better at seeing things clearly. You stopped running after every open door. You learned how to hear under noise. You learned that not every delay means someone is resisting and not every chance means someone is giving you permission. That wisdom came from everyday things, like paying bills when money was tight, being there for people without being thanked, and saying no when saying yes would have been easier. These were not little things, they were practice for stewardship. Many people don't realize that the promise doesn't just test faith, it checks for consistency. It looks at how you act when no one is praising you, how you treat people who can't help you, and how you deal with disappointment without getting angry. You passed those tests without making a sound. That's why heaven trusts you now, chosen one. Faith doesn't always grow when you learn something new. It can grow through doing the same things over and over, going back to the same truths on days that feel the same, and choosing to stay grounded when the excitement wears off. I have learned that what keeps the spirit steady is often something simple and easy to do over and over again, not constant explanations or dramatic signs. There is a quiet reminder below that is meant to be returned to without any trouble. The waiting made you into someone who doesn't need to feel alive right away anymore. You learned how to move without getting scared and how to hold on to hope without feeling rushed. That internal pace is very important for what comes next. If you had gone too fast, you would have broken, but now your base can hold on to momentum. You might have noticed that you don't have to explain yourself as much anymore. You don't feel the need to convince others of what you are becoming anymore. That is not giving up. That's what it means to be mature. When identity is settled, it doesn't ask for permission anymore. It just stays there. This is the position that heaven wants you to be in when you lose weight, chosen one. The strength you built up will soon make sense. The long silence taught you how to listen. The long wait taught you how to handle abundance without losing your peace. You are not going into this next phase weak or easily upset. You are going into it with experience. That seasoning came from time, not trauma. It came from being faithful, not from being forced. There were times when it seemed like nothing was happening, but something was always going on inside you. Patience grew. Motives became clearer, and attachments became less strong. You became less impressed with speed and more committed to being in line. That inner work made sure the promise wouldn't break you when it came. Remember how many times you chose to keep your heart open instead of closing it, and how many times you trusted again after being let down. You didn't waste those choices. They taught you how to accept without suspicion and give without running out. That kind of balance is hard to find, chosen one. This is not the time to work harder. This is where steadiness stays. The promise doesn't need any effort. It needs to be there. What is coming does not need you to be perfect or in a hurry. You need to be anchored. The waiting taught you how to stay grounded when you didn't know what would happen. That's why you won't be shaken when things change quickly. You didn't miss anything. You didn't do anything wrong, and you didn't need to hurry. The timing kept you safe, the wait saved you, the endurance made you better. What has been growing quietly is now ready to move out in the open. Anointed One, keep the same calm, focused, and grounded posture you learned while you were waiting. The promise knows that posture, it reacts to it, and when movement starts, it won't ask you to change who you are, it will just meet you as you are now. This part of the journey ends not with noise, but with being ready. As this next phase begins, you may notice a quiet change in how you interact with others, opportunities, and even yourself. Not distance or coldness, but clarity. You don't need to reach out to others for comfort anymore. You are listening to yourself to find alignment. This is not a withdrawal, it's discernment that becomes second nature. As the promise gets closer, noise becomes less interesting. There is a reason that your circle of friends got smaller over time. Anointed One, not everyone who helped you survive was meant to help you take care of things. Some people can only connect with others through pain. People only get you when you explain yourself. But what is coming needs fewer explanations and stronger limits. That trimming wasn't a loss, it was getting ready. You learned this slowly, through long, uncomfortable silences, through invitations you turned down without really knowing why, and through relationships that ended without a fight but also without a chance to fix things. Those times taught you to trust the feeling of unease that comes before things go wrong, and that trust will keep what is being let go safe. The change that is coming will also show who knows how to follow rules without being told. You will see that some people change naturally while others fight back in silence. You don't need to manage either response. Provision has its own language. Alignment draws attention. Resistance shows itself without having to fight. You don't have to fix everyone. You are called to stay steady. Anointed One, this is where humility changes. It's not about shrinking or hiding. It's about letting what God has done stand without apology. There will be times when you want to downplay what's going on so that others feel better. That instinct is no longer necessary. It came from times when you had to make yourself smaller to stay alive. Being a good steward means being honest about your abilities. There will be times when you want to talk about how hard it was, how long you waited, and how much you went through, not to brag, but to be understood. You might realize that not everyone needs to know the whole story. Some people only need the end result. And that's not rude, it is order. What God makes does not need to be defended. Chosen One, as the time for provision approaches, old fears may attempt one final effort to assert their significance. What if this changes you? What if you lose people? What if you make a mistake? Those questions are old, but they are still relevant. You are not going into this phase without being ready. You are going into it with practice. You have already lived without getting applause. You have already walked through a misunderstanding. You know how to stay true to yourself when things change. Remember how many times you chose to hold back instead of reacting. Anointed One, how many times did you stop instead of answering? That self-control will help you now, because to have influence, you need to be able to wait to speak, listen before you decide, and feel before you move. Those habits were made when the stakes were low, so they will stay the same when the stakes go up. You might feel a deeper sense of responsibility in your chest. It's not fear, but a feeling that what is coming is important beyond you. That level of awareness is good. It shows that you're ready. The promise is not coming to take your mind off of things. It is coming to put you in a certain place. And being in charge always means being responsible. Chosen One, This is also where kindness takes a quieter form, not saving everyone or showing kindness, but being careful with your time, money, and energy. You learned in lack that giving without thinking can take away your purpose. You will now learn that being generous in a planned way makes a bigger difference. That kind of balance is rare, and you have to work for it. You will have times when you look around and notice how different your life feels without saying anything. There will be fewer emergencies, more room, fewer explanations, and more trust. That's not a coincidence. That is what keeps the alignment stable. You are not being pushed into having a lot. You are being slowly given more responsibility. Don't be shocked if your creativity suddenly goes up. Ideas that were sleeping may start to come to mind without you even trying. Instead of being forced, solutions may seem to be fully formed. That flow comes from being calm, not from being stressed. You didn't lose your creativity while you were waiting. It was just saving energy for the right time. Chosen one. The next few days may seem normal on the surface, with routines, conversations, and commitments, but underneath, something is changing. Things are starting to fall into place. It seems easier to make decisions. Distractions don't seem as important anymore. This is how changes often happen. They happen quietly and inside before anything is seen. Anointed One, trust the speed. You are not behind. You are not late. You are in the right place for the promise to meet you safely. The steadiness you built will now keep going. The discipline you learned will now help you grow. The humility you showed will now hold power. You don't need to do readiness. It's already clear. Heaven doesn't ask you to prove what it has already shown you. Pay attention. Stay down to earth. Be honest with yourself. It doesn't take any effort to see what's happening. It needs to be there. Chosen one. As this part comes to an end, remember what you learned about trust, clarity, and restraint. They are not things that were left over from waiting. They are tools for the arrival. What happens next will not test them. It will confirm them. The movement goes on. Chosen one. As the movement goes on, you might start to feel a different kind of excitement, not anxious or restless, but calm and focused, the kind that makes you more aware instead of less aware. This is what happens when alignment becomes stable. You don't have to worry about being let down anymore. You are getting ready for responsibility without stress. This phase often seems deceptively quiet. Anointed One, the promise is close, but life looks normal on the outside. There are still things to do. People still talk like they used to. The pace of time hasn't changed. But inside, you don't have to negotiate your worth with the world anymore. That negotiation ended with waiting. What is left now is being ready without any show. You might notice that your reactions are getting slower. Things that used to make you feel rushed now make you think. You stop and think before you answer. You think about it before you decide. This isn't being unsure. It is authority that teaches you how to move with accuracy. You don't have to hurry to keep your promise. It needs to be correct. Chosen one. There is also a quiet separation going on inside. You are able to tell the difference between what seems urgent and what is really important. You got that clarity when you didn't have many choices and had to make the right one. Now that clarity is protection. As opportunities grow, so must your ability to make good choices. You are ready for that. Anointed One, some days you may still feel echoes of the old season, brief flashes of doubt and worries that you know don't have any power but still try to speak. Don't be scared of them. Transition often stirs up old things. It doesn't mean going back. It means that the old identity is fading away and the new one is taking its place. You are learning how to keep your expectations without holding them too tightly, how to stay open without being naive, and how to trust without giving up your wisdom. These are not small changes. These are signs that stewardship has already started within the organization. The promise usually comes after you have already done some stewardship. Chosen one, there is a reason you weren't rushed into this stage. If you had rushed, you would have learned how to eat. Waiting taught you how to hold. That change will affect everything that comes after it. You will see that your wants have grown up. What used to excite you doesn't anymore. If it doesn't have a purpose, what used to impress me now feels empty. You are no longer looking for relief. Anointed One, you are making a choice to align. Relief would have stopped the pressure. Alignment changes the way things go. The promise didn't come just to fix a problem, which is why it is coming to bring order and set a new path that will last. You might feel more responsible as this sinks in. Not fear, but awareness, knowing that what you get is connected to other people, not just you. That knowledge is not a burden, it is a guide. It keeps you focused on making a difference instead of giving in. You may also notice that conversations are changing. Chosen One, people talk to you differently, not because you've said anything, but because alignment sends a signal. Some people will lean in because they're interested, some will drift away for no reason. Neither needs to be explained. Movement shows that things can work together without problems. Anointed One, stay kind without going too far. Be open, but don't share too much. Be generous, but don't forget about your limits. These balances were used when there weren't many resources. They will now protect plenty. You don't have to change who you are for what's coming. You just need to stay true to who you are now. This is where trust grows, not in the results, but in the process. You don't need to be reassured all the time anymore. You have seen how preparation happens in secret and then suddenly becomes clear. That knowledge gives you peace of mind right now. It lets you wait without stress and move without fear. The promise does not require you to hold your breath. Chosen One, it comes best when you can breathe freely, when your life has room, when your schedule has time, and when your spirit isn't worried about timing. Being open doesn't mean being passive. It is trust without stress. You may find that you are simplifying things, fewer commitments, clearer priorities, and more space. That simplification is not a loss, it is alignment that makes space. The promise won't take over your life, it will fit in perfectly because the space was set up ahead of time. Don't just look at visible signs to see how far you've come. Use peace, clarity, and restraint to measure it. Those are signs that something important is being handled well. The promise respects those signs. It moves toward places that can support it. Chosen One, you don't have to wait and doubt anymore. You are ready to go. That difference is important. Not knowing what will happen drains energy. Readiness saves it. Soon, what you saved will be sent. And when you get direction, it will feel right, not forced. As this part of the journey goes on, stay aware of what stays the same in you, your values, your honesty, and your quiet confidence. Those are anchors. As things move more, they will keep you grounded. You are not going to be overwhelmed. You are about to be given a lot of trust. This phase ends with calmness, not suspense. With awareness, not worry. What comes next won't stop your life, it will work with it. The movement is still growing slowly,